Forgive me. Have you been to an Indian restaurant and gotten some butter chicken and some real thin naan? Oh my God. Anyway, the purpose of me doing this video, right? I was going to extend an invitation to church, right? Because we're having a conference called Freedom Conference. And in that Freedom Conference, people are going to be set free. But I thought about that. And you know what? There's a lot of people that sit back and they say, see, that's why I don't go to church. This is why I don't go to church. Because this. And to me, it's funny because now that I know better, we live, we learn. As we know better, we do better. I used to be one of those people, right? And it's kind of, to me, it's like going to a hospital, walking into a hospital and looking around disgusted, judgmental, because it's full of sick people. Shouldn't they be at the hospital? Aren't they supposed to be at the hospital? Why do you think they're there? Right? You want everybody, as soon as they walk through the door and all of a sudden, as soon as they join and accept membership into that church, boom, they're way up here. They came in here, they accepted membership, boom, 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 boom. Immediately. It doesn't work like that. And it's funny because it's like when you're driving. There's people that drive, they're very impatient when they drive, right? Very impatient with the person that's in front of them, but they want the people behind them to be patient with them. It's crazy. When you go to church, right? Let's say you're coming out of the world, you're fresh out of the nightclub, and the enemy has some nasty plans for your life, right? The Lord convicts your heart. He loves you. He does not want anything to happen to you. He convicts you to go. You show up at church, and somebody sitting across from you is looking at you because it's their first day too. They don't know it's your first day. They don't know you're brand new. All they know is they saw you in the club the night before. Look at you. She was just in the club the night. See, that's why I don't go to church. All these hypocrites. Trust me, when the Lord leads you to go to church or he leads you to come to him, how do you know he's leading you to come to him? You've been thinking about it. That wrestle, that tussle, that's the enemy. You ain't good enough. You need to get yourself together first. Don't you play with God. Now, if you're going to go, you better come correct. How you going to do that without Jesus? It's a trick of the enemy to keep you exactly where you are so he can continue to have his way in your life. And you just think, oh, well, must not have been God's will. Why you being robbed blind? What God has for me is for me. That's another lie that we tell ourselves, to placate ourselves and to comfort ourselves and to make ourselves feel better so that we don't strive, so that we don't pursue and overtake and recover what the enemy stolen. So we don't use that anointing that we asked for. So we don't take it by force. So we don't walk in the authority that we have so that we have no responsibility. We just like a used piece of tissue blowing in the wind. Whatever happens, it must have been God's will. It's God's will that people prosper, right? But not everybody prospers. It's not God's will that anybody should perish. But don't people perish? God feeds every bird, but he does not put the food in their nest. So think about it. If God deals with you about everything all at once, you would faint. You would collapse. People say, it don't take God that long. It don't take, he ain't still working. Not one person can say that they have reached absolute perfection. They have nothing to change, nothing to learn, something about even themselves that has not yet been revealed because they're not on that level yet. When you first come in and you're a baby Christian, God is dealing with you about this. And then you go to the next level. Then you reach the next level. And when you master that level, you go to this level. If somebody meets you here, who you are when you're here are not the same person. And then you go to this level. If God is still dealing with you what he dealt with you about 15 years ago, are you saved? No. You live, you learn, you grow, you mature, you develop. But never think when you go to a church that God is sending you there to those people. He's calling you to himself, not to the people. Now, God will put the lonely in families. He'll surround you with some wonderful people. And there are some wonderful people in church. But you'll find some tares. You'll find some wheat. And they grow together. But whatever you do, come. Because trust me, all the stuff that's going on in the world and the way that wickedness is increasing, you better get in that ark. And don't complain about them animals. I want to invite you to a Freedom Conference. We're having it at God's Tabernacle International Ministries, 3321 Mabelvale Pike. It's coming up on the 30th and the 31st of October. Yes, Halloween night. We will be there. I'm telling you, the way the power of God moves, the way healings go forth, the prophetic word comes forth, people are set free. I have been instantly healed repeatedly, instantly. No medical explanation. It was God. It was the Lord, you know. And you come and you learn, and God opens your eyes. He sets you free. You learn how much you're loved. You learn how important you are. You learn that you have a hope and a calling. You learn that you have a destiny and what it is. And you get to hear from God, you know. And he just sets you on a path that changes the trajectory of your whole life. It will change everything. Not only for you, but for those that are coming after you. Sometimes we think we're an island. I'm not hurting nobody. I'm not hurting anybody. Could you imagine? You have no idea the gravity of your decisions and how they reverberate through time, how they echo through time. If Abraham had known that because he was so impatient, he couldn't wait on God, that thousands of years later, Isaac and Ishmael descendants would still be at war, he would not have made that decision. It seems like a victimless thing. You're not hurting anybody. But think about your descendants. When Saul made his decision, and he decided he was not going to slay the Amalekites like God told him to. All those years later, David would not be sitting in the desert, dejected, his wife gone, his children gone, all of his men, same thing, their wives and children gone. They all turned their back on David. Those were the Amalekites that were supposed to be destroyed before he was even made king. Esther was raised up for such a time as this because an Amalekite wanted to destroy her entire race of people. And the Lord raised her up. None of that needed to be so if Saul had just done what he was told. Disobedience. Partial obedience is disobedience. Procrastination is disobedience in slow motion. You have no ideas how your decisions will reverberate through your generation. When you think about generational curses and people say that they don't exist anymore, Jesus became a curse for me. He hung on the tree. Yes, he opened the door. But if you live like the person before you lived that walked under a closed heaven, and you act out the same way they acted out, and you walk in the same drunkenness, debauchery, womanizing, fornication, sin, everything that brought curses in their lives, and because you were raised under them or around them, and they influenced you, and you carry out that same lifestyle, you receive those same prizes. Them ain't blessings. Is it not generational? Can you not look at certain generations and see none of those women are married? All those boys are in jail. All of these are drunkards. Is that not a generational curse? Come and learn. Because we can quote a scripture all day long. What God has for me is for me. Yeah, it was. But there's a thief that comes to steal, kill, and destroy. And how many times have you sat and been stolen from and just said, oh, well, it must not have been God's will. It was his will. You better get on your face and take it by force. You better walk in your authority. But the enemy know you don't know. He'll blow you over with a feather and have you thinking it's the will of God. Sweetheart, come in the ark and learn, unlearn, relearn. That's something my pastor says a lot. And it's so true when you live and you learn. Because there's some things that people hold dear, and they say it, and they're willing to die on that hill. Once saved, always saved. Jesus Christ could stand in front of you and manifest right in front of you, lay hands on you, set you free, pray for you, baptize you in the River Jordan, and it still won't be once saved, always saved. Because when he walked with sinners and he walked with prostitutes and he set the captives free, he gave them the same warning. Go and sin no more, or something worse will happen to you. You can believe those memes if you want to, or you can get in his house and learn for yourself. An eternity that's too big of a gamble to take. Come. Come and be set free. Not just you, but your children and your children's children. Break those curses, the things that you don't even realize. If it's working for you, it's not. Because you will stand before him one day and you will have to give an account. Don't worry about the people that you think are beneath you because they're not perfect. Come. October 30th and 31st, 6:30 p.m. nightly. We're meeting at God's Tabernacle International Ministries. It's at 3321 Mabelvale Pike in Little Rock, Arkansas. Phone number is 501-4... What is the number, Lord? 612-1124. 501-612-1124. If you're not in the local area, you can watch us online. We will be live streaming on YouTube and Facebook at GTIM Global. That's God's Tabernacle International Ministries Global, GTIM Global. Catch us. Come, be healed, be set free, be delivered, and have your life changed. And find out who you are. God didn't create you out of boredom. You're not here just to exist, breathe, and pay bills. God gave you an amazing destiny. Come find out what it is. Anyway, my name is Tameka Riley. I'll be there and I will save you a seat. Promise me you'll come. Promise me you'll come. Just give it a chance. And I hope to see you there. Bye.